Welcome to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your continued support. The conversation around the GMO and the utterances that were made by the Cabinet Secretary of Trade, Moses Kuria, is not ending very soon. In fact, the government trivialized when Raila Odinga spoke about the need to incorporate other stakeholders to talk about the GMO. And they thought that Raila maybe was playing politics or something, and they trivialized it. But it is now turning out that this thing must be discussed by stakeholders so that we can reach an amicable solution. There is one voice that has been missing, and I was just wondering, where is the church? The clergy has been very much instrumental whenever we have a stalemate on national issues such as the GMO. During the corona pandemic, I remember there were congregants who did not feel easy taking the vaccines until the clergy came out and explained that this is okay.
The Catholic Church was at the forefront of exposing this bad vaccination. But now I'm very surprised that they are all quiet. And not only the Catholic Church, all the churches.
Holy Father Pope Francis is the head of the church, and he has spoken very clearly regarding the vaccines. The vaccines are licit to receive. The vaccines need to go through the normal tests of any vaccines, and the Ministry of Health is supposed to do that. In principle, we are in favor of the vaccines. In principle, we want to fight COVID, and it is licit and ethical to receive those vaccines. That is the situation.
The clergy plays a very pivotal role in running the government. During the second liberation, people like Timothy Njoya, Ndingi Mwana Anzeki were a voice, an alternative voice of the people. They could stand firm and tell the government where they strayed. But the last time I heard or saw our churches was during the campaigns, when some of our churches had portraits of our President William Ruto. Then he was the deputy president. They formed a formidable friendship that you could not separate UDA and the church. I was wondering, is UDA a church or the church is the UDA? You'll forgive me for that assumption. And then on the declaration of elections, I saw Ole Sapit presiding over a controversy, and I was wondering really what is happening. That is the last time I saw our churches. When Ole Sapit courageously braved the altercations within Bomas, and he prayed, and I wondered what kind of God he was inviting when he knew very well there were problems. And then the other day I saw Ole Sapit advising those who have petitioned political or petitions in court to withdraw them. And I kept on wondering, what is really happening with our church? We have an impending national issue, and they could not speak. And ladies and gentlemen, today I'm happy that the Catholic Church discussed this and advised the President, advised the Minister of Trade to hold on the conversation about the GMO.
Kenyans deserve respect and not spite, and in this matter they do deserve an apology. It is not good to joke with death or to gamble with the life of Kenyans as if it was Russian roulette. For this reason, we feel this matter is more than just a joke when we speak about GMOs. It's a serious matter that deserves discussion, deep, sober engagement. It's not on one hand a decision for us to, on one hand, just embrace them wholeheartedly, completely, without any reservation, nor a situation where we want to reject the use or even to address the need that could be for a specific time. It's a matter of discussion, it's a matter of engagement and respectful strategic engagement.
Because this is not a decision that one can make alone. It is not a unilateral decision. And I think the government is coming to terms with the mere fact that this is something that must be left open for Kenyans to decide. They should not trivialize it the way they are trying to do. And if there is one lesson that this government should learn, is that whenever Raila Odinga speaks, it always starts like a trivial conversation, but it will spread. In fact, the more they procrastinate about this issue, the more it will attract attention and people will start talking about it. In fact, even Miguna, one who has been supporting government decisions ever since he landed from Canada, broke ranks and he criticized and he said this is something that is unacceptable. If you look at farmers, farmers are complaining and they are saying, if we allow the importation of GMO, then we will lose our market. When farmers lose their market, then we lose the revenue because our farmers sell their products. We need to do our local marketing. And farmers are saying that we have enough. In fact, if you listen to farmers in Rift Valley, they're saying that we have enough. What we want is market. Yet the government is now looking for importation of GMO food. It is something that is quite ridiculous. Even Cheregei, the senator, Ruto'S senator that is Kenya, supporting Kenya Kwanza, cast aspersions on the idea of importing GMO. And so when Raila started this conversation, I knew it was going to be a big conversation because usually when Raila airs his voice, it is not always on small matters or trivial things. It is something that he feels is going to affect people. And I have listened to experts, ladies and gentlemen, and I realized that whenever we have something of that magnitude, they should bring on board experts to talk about it. Because even from the USA, I understand that they have a policy framework where you get into a food store and it is labeled carefully that this is a GMO product and this is organic product. Yet in Kenya, I think a few cabinets sit down and pass that resolution, and it becomes alpha and omega, it is law. The last time I checked, I thought there should be something called public participation, so that Kenyans should participate and understand that is the rule of democracy, that we want a government of the people for the people, so that we understand there are people who today do not even know what GMO is. Why can't they bring experts to explain? And then after explanation, let Kenyans decide. Because you cannot purport to be feeding me with something that I'm suspicious about, unless there is some sinister motive. Because I heard the former Prime Minister saying that there are investors who are giving fertilizers to Kenya, and I think free of charge. These are the same people who are trying to coerce the Kenyan government to accept their market for GMO. Have we become a dumping site? I don't think so. And what is wrong if we just light a conversation where we bring everyone on board? Because this is something that is beyond politics now. With the incorporation of the church and other stakeholders who have criticized this move, don't you think it is now something of greater magnitude than what they thought was a trivial matter? Because Moses Kuria was making some jokes about lights, and this has elicited a lot of negative reaction. Even the bishop said that we cannot be playing with such important matters. Let the government understand that the more they delay with this, the more most stakeholders will start criticizing this, and very soon you will see people on the streets, and then you will start blaming Raila Odinga. I don't know how fast this government forgets. They are forgetting that when Raila started a conversation about Waiguru, she was later to resign that she wanted some light duties. When Raila Odinga started a conversation about Kimunya, Kimunya said I would rather die than resign. Kimunya resigned. When Raila talked about the Atur Margarian and Atur, the two brothers who came into the country for some motives that we don't understand, it was later to be found that they were true. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want this government to separate politics and issues of national interest. Issues that touch on health and life cannot be politicized. And even if you're supporting Kenya Kwanza, let us have a proper argument so that we come to a common understanding. Because when the GMO starts affecting, it will not choose you based on your political affiliation. And I want to tell you this. Those people who fear talking will have a shoulder to lean on whenever Raila has spoken. And you will see more of these people talking because they know that Raila is such a courageous man. There are people who fear talking, but once Raila has spoken, they will come out. And I love the Catholic Church for this. The bishops who came out. I know there are members of other churches who want to speak, but because of their relationship with the government, they don't want to speak because they are now in some convenience straight bedfellows. And I want the church to continue the same spirit. I know I've seen during the weekends a bishop being given a personal car. Ruto bought some car for a bishop. The other day, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua sneaked in some money in a bag to a church. And I think the church is being compromised. So to the Catholic Church, heco, let's keep on. Let's have more clergy coming in so that we can pile pressure on the government to do the right thing. Because the last time I checked, the church was the eye of the common man. The last time I checked, the church stood out and spoke when the idea was unpopular. And I think the bishops who did this are on the right course, and we need to give them much support, ladies and gentlemen. And that is my take. I don't know what you think.